These 4 tyres might be the fastest track tyres you can buy in both Europe and North America that are still street legal. So not only am I going to tell you which is fastest on track in the dry, I'm also going to test the wet performance, and we'll look at some of the livability options such as noise and comfort. There's not a whole lot to say. It's the Bridgestone Potenza Race, which is a 200 treadwear track tyre. It is the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2R. You know it, it's been out for a long time. It's very, very fast. It is the Pirelli P0 Trofeo RS. This is the tyre that's taking Nürburgring lap records almost every week at the moment. And finally, it's the Vitour Tempesta P1, which a lot of people, especially in North America, are using in autocross and track days with great success. But it is now street legal in Europe. It has the EU label. So it's going to be a fun test. Let's get on with the testing. Okay, dry handling. Now this is what these tyres are all about. I will be doing wet, but really, do we care about wet? I guess we do if you're going to be using them on the street. But dry is where these tyres should specialise. So I just want to talk through the procedure because I haven't done quite as many laps as I wanted to, but I'm going to be honest, Dallara have turned up at the track and said I can drive one of their cars, and if you get offered to drive a Dallara and refuse, you're the biggest idiot in the world. Anyway, so the procedure I did, went out, did 2 soft handling laps, so that's below limit, steering response, lane change, how the steering builds up and ramps up. Luckily I have the track to myself so I can do all this. So that gives you an idea of what the tyres would be like on the road. And after those 2 laps, we went out at 2.3 bar, which is about 33 PSI, which is under sticker for the Golf GTI Clubsport, which I'm using. And after those 2 laps, I then did 2 fast laps. I then came in, bled the tyres back down to 2.3, 33 PSI, because they had gone up to about 2.7, 2.8, and then did 2 more fast laps. So in total, 4 fast laps and 2 soft limit laps. What did I find? Well, I'm just going to talk you through the order of my day. The first set I went out on was the Bridgestone Potenza Race. Now, on the soft limit section, so the steering reaction and the lane changes, it's kind of like, it's a good and a bad thing. It has this non-linear ramp up, which traditionally I wouldn't mark as a high score. It wouldn't be a good thing. But because it's a track tyre, it makes it for racy, so you turn, and then the car just turns, and it feels really good fun. However, once you push on this tyre, it becomes very easy to ask too much of the construction or the compound. Either way, it's the only tyre I really had trouble braking and getting it into the corners. Like, the steering feels lovely sub-limit, but once you get to the very limit, it's a little bit muddied, and especially when you're trying to do transient things like braking and turning, which I do. I'm a very big trail braker. I'm always hard on the outside front tyre, and we'll get on tyre wear a bit later in the video. So next up was the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2R. Now, I thought initially a Cup 2R on a Golf GTI, I know it's a club sport, it's got 300 horsepower, it's just going to be way too much tyre for the car, but it wasn't. It was a really nice amount of tyre for the car. And sub-limit, you felt more connected with the road. I'll get on lap times in a second, but you felt super connected with the road. It turned a little bit sharper and a little bit more positively mid-corner, so you felt like you had more grip mid-corner, and then corner exit you could get on the power a little bit earlier than the Bridgestone. However, the lap times, they were both 81 seconds, so 1 minute 21. And honestly, at this point, I'd done 4 sets of tyres. There's 2 sets of tyres I'm doing a bit of development work for a company I can't talk about, but both of those were also 81 seconds. And at this point, I'm getting a little bit depressed. I'm like, I'd never been to this track before, so I'm like, is this track just not a good one for showing differences between tyres? Is the Golf GTI just not enough car to really show the differences? Because I thought the Cup 2R, I was surprised it wasn't faster than the Bridgestone, but all 4 laps were grouped well. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention about the Bridgestone, the heat did get to it. Like, the first lap was an absolute flyer, and then the times dropped off a little bit more, and by the end of the 4th lap I could really feel like the heat was getting to it, but the Michelin wasn't. The Michelin was nice and stable, so that's a big plus for the Cup 2R. Although, again, it did look a little bit worn as it came off, whereas the Bridgestone looked rather fresh. So anyway, as I was saying, I felt a little bit depressed at this point. I was like, is this just where the car and track are? So the next tyre was the Pirelli P0 Trofeo RS. Now, Pirelli have been trying to get me to try this tyre since the very launch because they are super happy with it. And honestly, I can see why they are. This thing was unbelievable. Considering it's a Golf GTI, suddenly it felt like a Golf race car. Like, it just had so much more grip. I had to recalibrate my braking point on the first couple of laps, and then I went in, had the pressure bleed, came back out, and I was still braking too early. I was still like, oh, damn it, I've done it again. Even though I was at my new later braking point, the Trofeo RS just had so much on the brakes. And then it was the first tyre I felt like I wasn't overly managing. So I wasn't feeling like, oh, I want to attack here, but I know I'm going to brake into understeer because the tyre perhaps won't give it to me. There's this fast left-right chicane where every other tyre I tested, I would just be hesitant as I turned in, wait for the tyre to load up and grip, and then I could get back on the power. Whereas the Pirelli, I would flick it left, flick it right, stomp on the power, and the tyre would just give me it. And it was a 79-second on its fastest lap, and its average was still in the 79s. So significantly faster than both the Bridgestone and Michelin, which is hugely impressive, but subjectively it gave you all that. Like, I could tell it was going to be faster, and I wasn't surprised it was that fast. And then finally, I went to the Vitour. Now, I've heard lots of good things. This is my first time driving it, and the good things I've heard are all true. Considering this is a test of giants, the Bridgestone Potenza Race, which is another 200, but the Cup 2R and the Trofeo RS, these are the giants of the premium manufacturers, and the Vitour absolutely held its own. It wasn't quite as fast as the Pirelli, but on average, it was faster than the Michelin. Its first lap was very quick, and then I felt by the end of the fourth lap, it was heating out a little bit, unlike the Michelin and the Pirelli, which were very stable towards the end. But its steering was crisp. Again, not quite as direct as the Pirelli, but up there with the Michelin. Its braking was good, and honestly, it was an impressive all-round package. I'm still driving on the tyre now, and I'm very happy with it. So, a thoroughly enjoyable group of tyres in the dry, but I'm a full tyre tester, so I'm going to go test them in the wet. Let's see how they get on. Okay, wet handling of these tyres. Now, wet is not the design focus of these tyres, as you well know, so this isn't going to be super heavily weighted in the overall results, but I still think it's interesting. Now, about the wet test, it is currently 18.5 degrees centigrade, and I'll put freedom units on the screen, but that means this is warmer than you would have on a road. Plus, I'm intentionally giving the tyres a full warm-up lap, and it's about a 2-minute lap, so it's a significant warm-up time. And I'm doing this because obviously these are track tyres and they do need a bit of heat, so they should give a bit of representative data for like a track day that's wet, rather than driving on the road in the winter where it'd be a lot cooler and things would be quite different. So I'm just going to talk you through the order of which I tested these tyres. The first tyre was the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2R. And this tyre was lovely to drive. Its front-rear phase when steering, the way the rear followed the front, was beautiful on this GTI. Really impressive, and while the steering wasn't quite the most direct of the bunch, it was just lovely. They've done a really good job with this Cup 2R. As for the lap, you know, this was the first tyre I ran, and I'm going to use it as a control, so I'll run it again at the end to evolve the surface conditions and my driving conditions. As for the lap, now it was the first tyre I ran, and the grip was mind-blowing when not floating. There were patches of hydroplaning, aquaplaning, as you would expect. You can probably see from the footage. There are some pretty deep puddles of water here, but that's just interesting, right? But when it was in contact with the ground, the grip was monumental. You stand on the brakes and you're like, how is a Cup 2R doing this? Admittedly, it's a warm Cup 2R, but really, really impressed. And it put in what I thought was a very good lap time. Then I moved to the Bridgestone Potenza Race. What? Now, on my outlap, the first thing I do is a little bit of steering reaction, and the front rear phase was not as nice as the Michelin. You'd have a little bit of turn at the front, then the rear would start to turning, so there was a slight delay there. And generally, the tyre didn't feel that sporty in comparison to the Michelin. The steering was just a little bit more dead around centre. The ramp up of steering speed was a little bit slower, and everything was just a little bit lighter. It felt like a calmer tyre. But wow, to drive, it's in a complete class of its own in the wet. Its initial lap time was about 4.5-5 seconds faster than the Michelin, maybe a bit more, I can't quite remember now. And then every single lap I do 3, and then average the times were within 0.3 of each other, which is about 0.25% around a very complicated lap. The tyre just gave you, although it wasn't quite the sportiest on the front axle, and although the rear was maybe a tiny bit out of phase, The tyre just gave you insane amounts of confidence. The grip was endless for this category of tyre. I'm about to test UHP street tyres, and I'll be surprised if any of them are as fast as this tyre. Its balance was just a little bit of understeer primary, and there was almost no aquaplaning or hydroplaning at any point throughout the lap. So based on this test alone, without a doubt, if you're driving your car on the street in the wet, or you're looking for a wet 200 tread-aware tyre, the Potenza Race is the one, without a shadow of a doubt, based on these test results. And then I moved to the Vitour. Now the Vitour was interesting in different ways. Its steering was more like the Michelin than the Bridgestone. Although it wasn't quite as tight as the Bridgestone around centre, it was very good as soon as you started to turn, felt grippy and it dug in. Now the note I have about the Vitour, although its overall time and the average of the 3 laps was about the same as the Michelin, its warm-up was very different to all the other tyres. It did take, although this is known as an autocross tyre that warms up very quickly, its warm-up was the slowest of the bunch. Most of the tyres, in fact all of the tyres, had their front tyres turned on by the end of the warm-up lap, and then the rears by about the end of lap 1, timed lap. The Vitour took nearly to the end of lap 1 to get its front up to temperature, and even middle of lap 2 I was still struggling with the rear temperature. Obviously this is a Golf, I'm dragging the rears around, they're not doing a whole lot, but compared to the other tyres, yeah, that was the slowest warm-up of the rear tyres. Once it was warmed up, the car was much nicer to drive, and you can really see that in my lap time progression. I think it's the only tyre where I've had more than a second and a half delta between the first lap and the last lap, and that's all down to warm-up. So sporty feeling, but in terms of wet performance, it's not the strongest here unless it's warm, and then it's perfectly adequate. It's up there with the Michelin. And then finally was the Pirelli P0 Trofeo RS. Now this tyre, its steering was what I would call the most reactive and the most sporty of the bunch, which I liked. Its warm-up was about the same as the Michelin's average, Bridgestone best, Vitour worst, then the Michelin and Pirelli around average for warm-up. But its hydroplaning or aquaplaning performance was the weakest of all of the tyres. So while its raw grip when you weren't floating was absolutely excellent, it was a bit more entertaining, challenging to drive, especially with the hydroplaning at the rear axle. It would just make the rear step out a little bit. It was faster than the Michelin and Vitour on average, but none of the tyres got anywhere close to the Bridgestone. So to summarise the wet handling, and I'll talk about braking in a second, summarise the wet handling, you have the Bridgestone in a complete class of its own. Like, I don't know why it's with these tyres anymore. It's incredible in the wet. No hydroplaning, endless grip, and a really easy, safe balance to drive. Then you had the Pirelli, and I would say the Pirelli's got the second most grip in the wet, but it was just a little bit harder to extract because of that aquaplaning weakness. And I haven't done the aquaplaning test yet, but it's going to be really interesting when I do to see if that matches my subjective thoughts. Then the Michelin was just joyful to drive on this Golf GTI Clubsport, but perhaps not the grippiest. And then the Vitour, good tyre, once warm, when it was cold, just a little bit difficult to drive. But interesting bunch in the wet. I hope someone's found that useful. My hunch was right about aquaplaning. Both the Trofeo RS and the Vitour, struggle compared to the Cup 2R, which is a sentence I'd never thought I'd find myself saying. Cup 2R best in aquaplaning, but the differences were very small. It's also no surprise that the Bridgestone was the best in wet braking, with quite a significant gap to Michelin and then Pirelli. And again, the Vitour back at the back. Not that I think anyone really cares about the aquaplaning or wet braking performance of these tyres, but I do like to test these things. Maybe one of you will care. Finally, I haven't talked about the dry braking yet. Well, it will come as no surprise yet again that the Trofeo RS was the best, which matches the lap time, and the Vitour second. The Bridgestone Potenza Race's wet focus, for this category of tyre, showed up in the braking results too, nearly 10% off in dry braking, which is a bigger gap than I'd imagined, but data is data. Finally, here's one more thing no one will care about, the rolling resistance value of the tyres. The Bridgestone was the best with the Cup 2R second. The Vitour was 20% off the Bridgestone, which is quite the gap. But do you really care if your track tyre uses more fuel? Probably not, although if it affects your top speed, maybe you will. I'll have to test that. As for the overall results, this is one of those result sets that will be heavily influenced by exactly what you want from the tyre. I have put a very dry track focus on the results, but
but I have also included the wet data and the rolling resistance data in my score weighting. If you want to change it, go to tyrereviews.com. It's the website behind the YouTube channel. You can play with all the results and the score weighting to make it exactly what you want from the tire. And before I start, the last to first, none of these are bad tires. Due to the heavy dry bias of the results, the Bridgestone Potenza Race finished last, but it's the one you want to use if you want to use your track tire every single day. As in the wet, it stands on its own. It's incredible. It wasn't the most dynamic in wet handling, but it's 15% better than the next best tire in wet braking, which is almost incomprehensible. Just thinking about it now, it's like, wow. Sadly, in the dry, it wasn't quite as strong. So if you are looking for the ultimate track tire, the Potenza Race is not the tire for you. But as a very, very fast street tire that's enormous fun, I can highly recommend the Potenza Race for that. In an almost complete opposite, the Vitour Tempesta, did I get that right? P1 Plus was very good in the dry, but not so strong in the wet, especially wet braking. I know you don't care. What will probably matter more is the fact in the dry, it was second overall, beating the Cup 2R, so very good job to Vitour there. My one complaint is the thermal degradation is a little bit higher than the Pirelli, as in, as it gets hotter, its pace drops off pretty quickly. So keep that in mind, especially if you're a driver who puts a lot of energy into your tires. Maybe it's a bit better suited to autocross. Unfortunately, sorry, I didn't get any pictures of the tires at the same wear state. I used one of the sets for my filming laps, and I did that before I took pictures of tires, which was really, really dumb. However, before I went out filming, I did visually look over all of the tires and take notes, and the Vitour did look a little bit more worn than the others. I think it really struggled with hugely aggressive curbs at the track, which I was hitting very hard in a car that's known for eating its front tires. I know the Vitour is a 200 and the Michelin and Pirelli are lower, but the tread wear number is pretty much pointless these days, and it certainly doesn't correlate to track wear, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Then we had the Cup 2R. I didn't really know what to expect from this tyre in its aftermarket size, but it was very fun and very fast, and in traditional Michelin fashion, it was easy to drive and even had low rolling resistance. We've seen before, the Cup 2R does suffer with relatively high wear, and once again, the Golf GTI punished the fronts, but overall it was a very fun tyre. And then finally, we had the Pirelli P0 Trofeo RS, and it's proven its WRC roots by being an outstanding tyre in the dry. It was a little bit peaky in the wet, and it had a higher rolling resistance than the best, but let's face it, these tyres are meant to do one thing and one thing very well, and that's going very fast in the dry, and that's where the Pirelli shone. And its wear looked the best of the fast tyres too, and I even did an extra lap, and its lap time, its thermal degradation was the most stable of all the tyres. So impressive. A lot of manufacturers have pulled out of motorsport citing cost concerns, which is a shame, as the Trofeo RS proves that developing a compound for something as demanding as the World Rally Championship really does produce a special tyre. I have no problems recommending all of these tyres, but if you want to be the very fastest guy on track based on this test, it is the Trofeo RS. In fact, based on more than one test actually. I'll link an auto build track tire test in the description. They pretty much had the same results, with the RS being a step ahead of everything else, and they even used a better car, a BMW M2, and they had more luck with the weather, so they did more laps. It's a good article, go check it out, and the Vitour performed very well in that test too. I actually have another test with some of these tires and some other track tires coming up in the near future, so make sure you're subscribed for that. And the results were, it was a learning experience for me. It was very interesting, and it was on the Tire Reviews M3, so it's a slightly different result set. Anyway, any questions, please ask below, and as always, safe motoring.